What's up, everyone? In this video, we want to talk about branding your Instagram, okay? Now, this is super important when it comes to building a presence on Instagram and across all social media platforms. So I want to address something right here, right now, before you get started building your own page. Usernames are probably one of the most important pieces of the puzzle because your username is what's going to be used for people to find you. It's going to be used for people to you, to mention you, right? And it is basically the defining factor of your brand on Instagram. Now, the bad news is oftentimes if you are in a generic niche, the generic term of the niche is going to be taken already. Like, it's just like domain names, right? You want to go buy a domain name, a website address, chances are it's probably already taken, right? So people are having to do a couple of things and use other extra characters, or they have to, be a little bit more reasonable with changing up their brand name a little bit. So if you don't already have an established business or company or brand that you're bringing over to Instagram from somewhere else, be flexible, right? Allow yourself to be flexible so you don't waste, decades trying to get that one username. But usernames are very important. And then also we're going to discuss owning the brand across all platforms. So a couple of things when we talk about usernames, okay? So if you are building a personal account, you're probably going to use as a username either, like for me, I would use either Adrian or I would use Adrian Morrison, right? Because people are looking for me. So they're going to be searching for Adrian or Adrian Morrison. So try to get your own personal name. And obviously, with personal names, right, it is okay to use the dots, sometimes the underscore, which I really don't recommend, but that's an option for you to use. I found the underscore, now it's gone. And then numbers, right? Numbers, I'm seeing a lot of people will put some numbers after their name. Other things that they will do is they'll put in front of it like the real or official and stuff like that. Like those are other alternatives if your name is already gone, right? So I was fortunate enough to get Adrian Morrison. But when you are doing a branded account in a specific niche, right? So you're doing here niche accounts, all right? And let's just say your niche is rings, all right? Well, tough luck because guess what? I've already got the username rings. So a lot of people might try to come in here and say, well, I'll do rings 1, 2, 3. I'll do rings underscore. Or I'll do, dot rings dot. Well, the problem with these types of usernames right here is that a lot of people, it's to type in the underscore on the keypad, you have to click over, go to another special character pad, and you got to type it in. It makes it a lot harder for people to etch you and to search for you, right? And rings just straight up look numbers look very unprofessional. So these right here are really bad examples of things that you can do. Now for personal accounts, I do see people using some special characters, but a lot of people just result on personal accounts to numbers, official, real, stuff like that. All right, so when you're building like a niche account, be willing to be flexible, right? So you might not be able to get exactly what you want, but it's better to have like I would say, it's okay or it's good to have a 2-word username, a 2 to 3 word username. So I'll give you a couple of examples, all right? So let's just take a look at, I have Daily Driven Exotics up here, right? Sure, I'm sure that they would 100% prefer to have the username Exotic Cars. But Exotic Cars wasn't available. So they went with Daily Driven Exotics. And it's memorable, it looks more professional, 100% way better to use this name than Daily Driven Exotics or Exotic Cars 123 or 387 or something like that. It's really hard for people to remember that type of stuff. luxury world traveler. Like this guy probably would have preferred to have luxury traveler, right? But hey, that wasn't available. So a lot of people, instead of luxury, they'll put Lux, like Lux, so like the Lux Traveler, the Lux World Traveler. Be willing to be a little bit flexible with your username. And another thing that you don't really want to do is knock off what's already good. So if somebody already has an established brand with 2.9 million followers, don't go out there and try to copy their username by making it a typo or putting a period in between it or something like that, because you want to build your own brand on Instagram, right? You don't really want to be confused with somebody else's brand, and it looks cheap and people are going to say, hey, this is a poser. Essentially is what they're going to do. So it's good to have nice clean usernames like that. You could see on my personal account, I've got Adrian Morrison. So if you're trying to build up your own personal influencer account, you're going to want to do something like that. Another great example is King Bach right here, who goes by the username King Bach, but his name is Andrew Bachelor, right? So totally fine. That's way better than Andrew Bachelor 3256 underscore period, right? So just stay on brand and be flexible a little bit. Here's another great example is Fashion Nova. All right, so they got a really epic name for their site. So there's another company that does very similar stuff to Fashion Nova, but I want you to see what their username is. It's My Outfit Online, right? Sure, this would be epic if their username was fashion, but fashion is already taken, right? My Outfit Online is what they decided to come up with. All right, delicious. Like I said, all the best names are going to be taken already. So you're going to have to come up with either a 2 to 3 word variant of some of the best things. So if you come up here in the search bar, you can kind of look at what other people have done. So if I type in fashion, you'll notice that you got Fashion Flux right here, Fashion Bomb Daily, Fashion underscore Jackson, right? That's not going to be one that people are very easily going to remember. So High Fashion Men, Fashion Week, Fashionismo, you can kind of come up with some really interesting things. If we come over here and type in, let's just say diamonds, you're in the diamond niche. All right, so you'll have Dime P-Sex. I don't think that's meant for diamonds. But Diamond 2014, what is this? They got 0 followers and it looks outdated. So never recommend putting dates in your username, by the way. So it's really cool to come over here and use this search bar to help identify, what other people are kind of doing. So if I type in Lux, you're going to see Lux Interiors, Lux Toys. Now, these people are using the period, which sometimes I've seen, I've never used them, but is acceptable. So like they got 1.3 million followers. But I bet you Lux Interiors is already taken by somebody else. Let's see. All right, Lux Interiors is taken by some company that really hasn't even made a post in forever and has 600 followers. So username is important, but congruency and growth, education is all very important. But you could see here, this was taken by somebody that's not really doing anything. It's unfortunate. So they put a little period in there and they're not ripping off a big brand. And I'm glad that I found this because remember earlier I said if the username's already taken, don't put an underscore or period and try to play off of their success. This was just someone who wasn't successful already, that already had the good username. They weren't doing anything with it. So this company resulted to using a period. In this case, this is acceptable. And clearly it worked, right? They're not piggybacking off of a brand that's already there. It's just someone already had the username and they weren't really, using the username. All right, now the next thing that I want to talk about here is owning the brand. Whenever you build out your brand on Instagram, I'm going to assume that you're probably going to have a Facebook page. Maybe you're going to have a Snapchat. You're going to have a YouTube channel. Maybe you're going to have a website. And oftentimes when people find you in one place, right, they look for you additionally in other places on social media. A lot of people on Instagram, a large percentage are also YouTubers. So you want to make sure that you can own the brand. Now, this is something I've been practicing for many, many, many years. is owning the brand. So how do you know if your username is available at every single popular social media outlet or domain name? It's kind of hard to go to each one. So here's a little tool. It's free. It's called namecheck.com, right? So if you just go to namecheck.com, what you're going to be able to do is search the most important platforms and domain extensions to see if your name is available. So I was just recently in Italy, and we were searching through all these different yacht companies, looking at their Instagrams and stuff because we were renting a yacht. And so I just came up with a name, like let's say that I wanted the username Lux Yacht. All right. Well, I don't want to build up a massive Instagram page if Lux Yacht is already big on Facebook and it's big on YouTube, and it's, I don't own the brand. So let's hit check. And what this free tool is going to do is it's going to tell me if the domain name is available. So luxyacht.com is already taken. That's okay. Your domain doesn't have to be available for Instagram, right? But it is good to know if it's available. You may as well buy it because it's like $15 to buy a domain name. And then down here, they'll do the social media networks. Now, this isn't all networks. There's some name checkers that just show you like everything in the world, and it will make your brain explode. This is the most important ones: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, Tumblr, Pinterest, YouTube, Flickr. So these are, I guess, the most used platforms. And obviously they should be adding TikTok in as well, because TikTok is kind of blowing up. But you can see here that the name is available on Instagram, right? But it's already taken on Snapchat, Tumblr, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook. So you want to check and make sure that when you get a name on Instagram, see if it's available on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere else, or Snapchat, and just cop it. In other words, get it. Because even if you're not using it right now, if your brand blows up, you want people to be able to very easily find you on other social media outlets, okay? So name check right here is a completely free tool. There's other name checkers if you just Google it. This is just the one that I found, the one that I use. Because it really just makes it simple and gives me the most important ones. Google Play Store, App Store, the things that majority of people are actually using, right? All right, so namecheck.com. Make sure that you are flexible a little bit with your name, because you're probably not going to get rings or jewelry or diamonds or fishing, So you have to be a little bit flexible, but just remember that you can go to 2 to 3 word usernames, opposed to resulting to periods and underscores and numbers, right? It's just like domain names. It's always better to have words than numbers or special characters, like dashes and stuff like that, okay? So get started with your niche, build your brand, own your brand if you possibly can. If you can't get them all, it's okay, right? But just check and make sure up front, because you want to get it, because once you blow up, other people are going to try to get the username if it's available on other platforms, because there are people out there that do that type of stuff. So just try to get it if you can. All right, that's it. I'll see you on the next video.